Well, hello and welcome to the Burgess Salmon stage for the next session, which is going to be given to us by Lesley Waud, Design Development Director at Atkins, now a member of the SNC Lavalin Group, and she's going to talk to us about enablers to embed digital to transform design. Lesley, over to you.
Thank you. Afternoon, everyone. Quite a long-winded title, but the simple version is we've got to get to grips with digital as an industry and actually embed it in what we do. So I think we all recognise that digital ways of working should be at the heart of everything we do. And you only have to look at the timetable for this event and the amount of traffic on social media in advance that was all about digital and AI to see that we all recognise that. But how many of us are really succeeded in making the transformation through digital a reality in our businesses? And this is my personal opinion that there's two key blockers. So the first is that we haven't worked out how to properly engage our people. And the second is how we move to business, operating and commercial arrangements that will support a different way of working. If we take a step back, this isn't new news. There's been lots of challenge about our approach in this industry. I particularly like the catchy one, the second one in the Pharma Review that's entitled "Modernise or Die." And we've also seen recent publications from the ACE about the future of consulting. So the dialogue is ongoing, but have we really been listening properly as an industry? Lots is being said about us, but do we really recognise what we have to achieve? So in terms of digital progress being made, it's mostly around digital. There's a wealth of tools and systems and processes out there already. We've done a little bit in the context of standardisation and off-site manufacture. But how are we helping our people embrace the tools that are readily available? And how are we changing our business operating models and the commercial arrangements to collectively make a significant change in how we deliver and start to make some real productivity improvements? So with respect to people, I mean the culture and the mindset. So based on what I'm seeing, there's a perception by many that doing things digitally is a threat to their long-held technical specialism or expertise. And it's eroding the vocational careers that people have worked hard to achieve. But I don't see it in those terms. To me, the big risk is us not helping our people embrace benefits of using digital systems and processes in the work to enable better and more efficient outcomes. So as leaders, it's up to us to empower our teams to use technology as an enabler. And it's up to us to have an appetite and desire to show that leadership, to explain why doing things differently now really matters, and to set our expectations. And that means upskilling and in some instances reskilling our workforce and helping people who may be resistant to change by providing the right support and opportunities for them to develop as individuals and to embrace that change and see it as an opportunity for them to help write their CV of the future, so to speak. So how do we reassure them that digital transformation isn't a threat, but is actually an opportunity to learn new skills and to equip them for the future? If we don't tackle the issue now, the conversations will continue to be split, and there's a number of different camps. There's those who want something different but don't know how to get there, like some of our clients. There's those who are digitally minded, who are plugging digital as the end point rather than the means to an end. There's those who feel threatened and would rather tell you all the reasons for not doing something rather than finding ways that you can. And that in turn alienates those who are eager to adopt new technology and who are snapping at our heels to use it. So when we deploy digital processes to carry out repetitive activities, do our teams recognise that frees them up and allows them to use their valuable time to focus on what's really adding value for our clients and their customers? And just think of all those repetitive and mundane tasks that we've all been through in our careers that we can take away from our people and actually, really give them some thinking time and some headspace. So we've got an example within Atkins where one of our rising stars recognised that he was going through something very, very repetitive in the world of bridge design, and off his own initiative he went and wrote an algorithm. They're being taught that now at university. I wasn't. Went and wrote an algorithm that took the repetitiveness out of that task and was able to do thousands of iterations instead of the manual process he was following. And he recognised that that gave him more headspace, more thinking time, and actually gave him real data to inform his decisions and his recommendations for the client. That is now, an example we're using to help people see he still exists, he's still got a role, his technical skill is valued, but we've taken away all this really repetitive stuff from him. So how do we find better examples of where we're doing that will help people recognise how they might be able to make a shift? And it doesn't mean the prestige of a career in design and engineering is diminished. We're fortunate that we've got digital game-changing technology to support our tasks that we didn't have access to as we were starting out on our careers. So let's capitalise on that and use it to our advantage. Which brings me to the second barrier, which are our business operating models and how we measure success in those, and the commercial arrangements that we're required to operate under. And this is where we really do need to start thinking differently. How do we reshape those models, root and branch? It's a really tough ask. Many suppliers, many clients are really comfortable with the models that we've worked to for the last 30, 40, 50 years, whatever it may be. And they're all based on unit cost and input effort, as opposed to thinking how as an industry we might link our price to the value of the service we're providing, and in turn that's related to the value of the outcome for our clients. Otherwise, as a supplier, we are hugely at risk at the moment of giving away all of the investments we're making, which are quite considerable, and not being rewarded for the benefit that those bring. And that just isn't sustainable for our industry. So how do we redistribute value earlier in the process, capitalise on the benefits of doing so, and then stick to the plan in delivery? Because we're not very good at that, are we? We also need to start working collectively on the challenges of how we create components, constituent parts, we stop reinventing the wheel, and we standardise where we can. And that those parts can be configured more intelligently so they deliver whole life cycle benefits. And there's a long-held perception, I believe, that a one-size-fits-all approach is perceived to waste material because things will be over-designed. But we all know, anyone who's worked on a construction site knows, if you're only using a part concrete load, the rest of it just gets dumped. So we're wasting material in that sense, and in a factory environment where we've got strict quality control and we've got strict material control, my view is we're going to save an awful lot as an industry. So we've got to shift that paradigm and that thinking. The other aspect of standardisation and component libraries is that we get the benefit of increased value throughout that process. We can better manage it, we can better manage the maintenance and the production of more consistent features out in our infrastructure networks, whether it be highways or other sectors. And within those commercial arrangements, we really collectively have to wrestle over the issues of insurance, intellectual property, that are all blockers that are going to be an excuse for us not transforming and not delivering differently. So, those intellectual property rights are showstoppers where we're trying to bring technology providers into this sector. That is how they sell their value, and they won't give that up. And they're walking away from opportunities to work with us because we can't find a way around it. So collectively, we're missing out as an industry on opportunities there. Should we be sharing our IPR freely across clients, across projects, across sectors? You know, if all of our clients agreed that open source was the way to go with what we're doing, surely we're all going to benefit from that across the industry. You know, we need to have conversations about these, and we need to be really open and honest with each other and really get to the root cause of why we're not doing things and how we can do them differently. So, in my view, that's us working together as an industry, as a collective of all the constituent players. And let's tackle those meaty commercial issues as a collective, as an industry, rather than tactically on individual projects, because that's not going to transform us. It's not going to be easy, but if we don't do something differently, farmers' prediction will become a reality for some people, and I don't want that. So some of the things we can start doing differently to make this a reality. So let's see digital as a game changer that can support traditional roles in delivering outcomes rather than be the purpose in its own right. Let's understand, guide and develop those who are fearful from change. You know, there's still a real need for our skills and capabilities, and we need to not lose sight of that. Let's foster some new digital behaviours, upskilling and reskilling our people and creating much more diverse teams. Let's really tackle how we reshape commercial arrangements and our own business operating models to encourage digital ways of working. And let's not keep measuring our performance in old world about the time we've spent doing something or the material quantities we've constructed on site, because that ain't going to change how we transform this industry. Let's use digital to encourage value through standardisation and reuse, and embrace that opportunity and design around a kit of parts where we can, and repetitive features that road users recognise rather than everything being bespoke, and use digital to help us behave and act more sustainability in every sense of the word. Procuring services in smarter and more sustainable ways that's based on rewarding the value added rather than the input effort. And finally, and most importantly, is how we develop collective leadership in understanding the challenges and make it happen. Because without that, we're not going to get there. So the good news is some of our clients are responding to the government agenda and creating models to try and move us into this space. But they're going to need further development and expansion over time as our thinking and behaviours mature. I believe our clients want more digital solutions to infrastructure questions to improve productivity and meet theirs and government expectations. But to get this right in the long term, we really do have to stop mixing the old world commercial models with new expectations. So if we're serious about innovative solutions, we have to grasp the opportunities of working in innovative commercial models and take some risks. And that means being emboldened by the, hard to say that, put my teeth in, emboldened by the transformative powers of digital technology, not threatened by it. And when we do so, we'll be able to uphold our professional status and also share in the value that we're adding throughout a project lifecycle. So, from my perspective, this is the most exciting time I've seen in our industry in over 30 years. And I really feel we are on the cusp of a significant change. But only when we encourage our people to embrace standardisation that technology can underpin through a shift in mindset that's supported by the right commercial models to allow us to focus on value, can we all share in those long-term benefits. You know, we're fortunate to have game-changing technology at our fingertips, so let's capitalise on that and use it to our advantage. Thank you.
Thanks very much indeed, Lesley. That's great. And no doubt...